You see this Parmesan? See how it's not just a white Parmesan like you would go to any place else? I mean, this is a special blend. And let me tell you something, we put this on every pizza and it is awesome. We call it love dust, fairy dust. I mean, it's been called several things, but if you forget it on the pizza, it's like eating a bland steak. But this is one of the key ingredients for Mr. Gatti's. The same thing with the pizza sauce, the cheese, and the dough. My name is Philip Moody. I have 3 restaurants. This one here at Essen Lane, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I have one in Denham Springs, 15 minutes away. And I have one in New Iberia, about an hour and a half away. You know, the thing I do like about Mr. Gatti's is I have a continuous cash flow. You know, I flip my inventory once a week.
I'm trying to learn everything I can from them. Yeah, can't be more proud, really. But when I started, I was 15 or 16 and, you know, bagging dough and stuff.
I think the thing that's really encouraging for me now is seeing that he's interested in it. So it's kind of like a fresh breath of air, you know, because look, this is a 7-day-a-week business. And you do it day in, day out, and he used to say, I want to work for Mr. Gatti's when I get older. So, be careful what you wish for, right?
I watched him do it and, you know, still trying to learn everything, you know, but it was a lot of fun as a kid.
Oh, that was taken right here in front of the buffet. This is actually the same buffet glass, flipped upside down and powder coated.
I still try to work as hard as him to this day, and I can't catch him yet, but I'm on my way.
There's a lot of memories in this room, a lot of great stories. Almost all the animals in this room are older and beyond the breeding age, which is the way you're supposed to shoot them. My dog won't come in here on a very regular basis because I'm afraid she thinks she's going to end up on the wall. This is a water buck from Africa. I wrote the original Mr. Gatti's franchise agreement, and the rest is history. The store in Jacksonville, Florida came up for sale. That would have been probably early 80s, and then we built a couple more. I remember getting a call from Odessa one night where our operations guy said, I don't know what I'm going to do with all these quarters, because he had, I don't know, $15,000 in quarters. So he put them in bags of $1,000 and hid them in all places, in the freezer, in the walk-in cooler. The bank wouldn't take a night drop on quarters, you know. So eventually we went to tokens. And then from tokens, years later, we went to a card. Midland, Odessa, McAllen, and San Antonio have all been in business since 95, 97, 99, and 2000. So that's 20 plus years and always been profitable. Nothing ever came along that I thought was any better than Mr. Gatti's. We've done very good in raising money for Periwinkle. Periwinkle Foundation is a fundraising entity in Houston for underprivileged children with cancer. I'm a multiple cancer survivor, so I can step in their shoes. We've been very successful. We raised almost $1 million over the last 15 years. It's always been in conjunction with Mr. Gatti's. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about something else. I'm getting tears in my eyes. I guess it's because it's such a good thing that we've done. It makes those kids feel so good.
Everywhere I go, people tell me how nice our people are. Where do you find your people? That's probably our biggest compliment we get. The best part about what I do is my kids, our employees. I have roughly 100 employees, 80 of them which are probably under the age of 19. So we get them in high school, and then they stay with us through college, and then they go on to, you know, to their careers or whatever they're going to be. But I'm like a father figure to 80 other kids, because a lot of them come from broken homes, or they don't have anybody to turn to, so they come to me. My name's Brian Geelan. I own 3 Mr. Gatti's, one in Crowley, one in Eunice, and one in Jennings, Louisiana. My father-in-law, B.I. Moody, brought Mr. Gaddis to Louisiana back in the early 80s. And he still eats Gaddis. He's 96 years old, and he still eats Gaddis once a week. Well, sometimes twice. It's remarkable.
After church, every Sunday we'd go eat at Mr. Gaddis. It was on 183. We'd go eat there with the family. And as a kid, I thought that was awesome. It was owned by Colonel Eure at the time, who's the founder of Mr. Gaddis. And he had no plans of selling it or franchising the brand. Knowing my mother, she probably bugged him crazy and said, listen, I want you to sell me that store. Because she was a different character. She was relentless and just brilliant. And so I think finally he's probably sold it to her to get her, just calm down, lady, just stop. And he did. And that's how it got started in 1972. She's in my ear every day. Always make the right decision. And I listen to that every day. That's what we try to live by. Excuse me. I think just the courage it took for her to do what she did, to see the big picture way before it was a big picture, and to fall in love with something and to develop it and build it, and to want her kids to have something and leave a legacy was phenomenal. My name is George Cash, and I own 10 Mr. Gaddis pizza locations in the Central Texas market.
Mother always taught us that we could do whatever we thought we could do.
We've always been close. We had a very close family. Every family member I have, except maybe one brother, has worked at Gaddis.
Including our mother.
She would help.
She would help. She would come around and go through the dining rooms and inspect.
I started working at Gaddis because I had just walked out and quit my job, and I walked into Mr. Gaddis and ordered a small sampler and a drink. And I was just going to soothe myself with my comfort food, and they came out to the table and handed me an application.
I came in about 82, junior in high school. Had to follow my sis. That's the way it goes, you know?
I actually started out as cashier with Mr. Gaddis in '83, falling in with these girls.
To me, Gaddis it's who I am. And if that ain't pizza sauce in your veins, I don't know what is. Y'all finding everything okay? When it comes to my daughter, she's just, I always try to interact with the kiddos because, well, kiddos are what we need, really. She can take it and run with it. She is the future of this. I just love Gaddis. And knowing this is going to go on in our family is amazing.
The best pizza in town, honest, is I bought into it then, and I still believe it now.
Honest to goodness, we are all in this together. We are. It means a lot.
I opened April 23rd, 1983. My name is Rick Shetler, and I own the Mr. Gaddis in Lake Charles, Louisiana. After Hurricane Laura and Delta, which pretty well wiped it out, we did a complete remodel. Those two hurricanes were within a month of each other. So what the first one didn't get, the second one did. And after a lot of prayers, a lot of asking favor, I came to the conclusion, and I guess my son was one of the biggest factors to carry it on because it's such a family-oriented business. I decided to build. But in my case, I'm going to pass it on to the next generation. The only thing that is old here is the cement slab and the metal beams in the wall. Everything else is brand new. So it's brought a whole new life to a 40-year-old facility. The foundation of being successful in the food business is to know it from the bottom up. It's what I did myself. There's a basic desire to make Mr. Gaddis the brand the best. And that's one of my goals now at this stage of life, president of the Franchise Advisory Board, to try to pull together, because there's so much knowledge with the old timers that the new timers don't quite know and understand.
I just kind of was like, well, this will just be a part-time job, and I'll just make a little cash for my gas going to school and back. And then it just kept growing and growing.
Had a construction company, and we were remodeling the Cedar Park store, and that's actually where I met Ann. So we met in a Mr. Gaddy's. We may die in a Mr. Gaddy's, but we actually met in a Mr. Gaddy's.
That's a long time ago, isn't it? Wow. My name is Ann Glenn. I've been working for Mr. Gaddy's for 44 years.
My name is Mike Glenn, and together with Ann, we own the Taylor Mr. Gaddy's. We both worked side by side in the Rockdale store. Around 2000, we bought the Taylor store, and we had both Rockdale and Taylor. So for a while, we had the Hiss and Her stores, and it allowed us to compete, and we may be a little bit competitive. You know, I may have won in sales, or she may have won in food costs. I think we can geek out over the art and the science of making dough and talk about the time and the temperature, but that's really not it. Again, it's about the people. You know, in the 35 or so years that we've been franchisees, we have employed a number of great kids, and it's fun to watch them go and do. Now, sometimes we have now employed their kids.
Yeah, and their kids are coming. I feel really old.
And soon their grandkids.
Yes.
But it is very rewarding. We often think of ourselves as the second generation of Gaddy's franchisees. We're probably passing on to the third and fourth generation now, and part of that American dream is selling it and moving on. Will you totally forget it? No, it's because it's in our blood. It's part of what we've done.